All right, tell us about the call that you folks had yesterday to the marina.
So last night at 10:10 p.m., we received a call for a man in the water at Smith Boys Marina over on Tonawanda Island. Our officers, along with our North Tonawanda Fire Department, responded, and they located the body of George Burgasser floating in the river. He was deceased at that time.
What preliminary investigation, what is the theory for the cause of death? Any indication as of now?
Well, I'm not going to comment on the cause of death. It's under review by the medical examiner's office at this point.
From a criminal point of view, police point of view, is there any foul play that may be suspected in this case?
It's under investigation. I mean, preliminary, it looks like an accident, but we don't, until we're done with the full investigation, I don't want to say that it's, completely an accident.
Can you give us just a scenario? What was that? Yesterday was a quite cold day, so this gentleman was not out on his boat on the river or on the lake.
They were not out on the boat. He was on his son's boat. They were down at the marina to show the boat to a couple who were possibly going to buy it. After the couple left, he and his son stayed behind on the boat for a period of time. They were down in the cuddy cabin. At some point, George Burgasser went outside of the cuddy cabin.
Let's say upstairs or something.
Yeah, up in the open area, and somehow ended up in the water. At that point, his son was frantic. He was calling for help. He looked for him, called his mother, who called 911, and that's when we responded.
About how long did it take for authorities to get to the scene there?
That doesn't say it on here, but I would say 2-3 minutes. It wasn't very long.
Was it difficult to find it because it is, the loading dock and, there's a lot going on there at Smith Boys?
Well, it's pretty good size area, and it was all the way, I don't know how far out the docks go, but it was all the way down at the third, I believe it was the third last boat dock. So it was a little bit of a haul.
But did that impact at all your search efforts or any type of resuscitation?
No, actually what had happened was the son had called his mother, who in turn called her other son, so the brother of the son who was on the boat. He responded immediately. He was there just prior to us, and he found his father 2 docks down from where the boat was docked.
Was there any indication, I mean, I know it's early, but was there any indication that he might have injured himself or anything, maybe hit his head or something and then fell in or anything?
He does have a cut on his head, so it appears that, yes, he did hit his head.
I imagine the temperature of the water probably didn't help once, you're in that water. Is it still, do you think that could have contributed?
It's 38 degrees. I would say, yes, it definitely helped to contribute in one way or the other.
And you guys didn't have to put any scuba men into the water to look for him or anything like that?
They were able to reach him from the dock and were able to pull him over to the back of the boat, actually, and get him up on the boat that way.
About how far down into the water did he go?
You mean depth-wise?
Yeah.
He was floating on the surface, so I really don't know. He was floating on the surface when they found him.
The cause of death at this point, is that still under investigation?
It has not been determined, yeah, until the medical examiner tells us what that is. We won't know.
Is there anything other than the bruise to his head that you can find from just on his body or anything like that?
There was no other trauma to the body, no.
And he wasn't under the influence of any medication or alcohol prior to?
Well, I don't know how much alcohol he had. They had been drinking, yes.
Do you know if they were drinking excessively, or?
I do not know that.
But they were drinking on the boat?
Yes.
This was a recreational day. They were working on the boat. They were just enjoying themselves.
No, our understanding is they put the boat in the water a couple days prior, and yeah, it's more recreational than anything else. They were showing it. They knew the couple who were there to look at the boat. They were friends with them. So yeah, I would say recreational.
So they didn't, it was the son's boat though?
It was the son's boat, yes.
Okay.
So they were separate when this happened. He came, from what I understand, the father came out or from that one area, and then the son came out after at some point and noticed that he was missing or in the water?
Yes, he thought he heard something, didn't know what it was, went up to look for his father, yelled out to him, couldn't find him, and then at some point realized, oh my gosh, he might have, ended up in the water.
What kind of boat was it? Was it a sailboat? Was it a cabin cruiser? Do you know any information about the?
I am not a boat person. It had a cuddy cabin and it had a Darrell, do you know?
It was approximately a 28-foot well craft, I believe, cabin cruiser.
28-foot cabin cruiser?
Yes.
When first responders did get to the scene there, what type of procedures were taken to either try to resuscitate him, or was he just pronounced dead right there at the scene?
It took, I want to say 10 minutes to get him out of the water. The docks sit up quite high from the water. They were able to reach down and hold on to him so that they didn't lose him. The current's pretty swift in there. They were able to harness him and then pull him through the water back to the boat. But he was deceased in the water.
So there was no CPR?
There was not.
Okay. It's our understanding that he had open heart surgery within the last year or so. Is this something that possibly could have just been an accident, could have been health related?
But you're asking me to speculate on something I cannot. I don't know the answer to that.
Have you responded to many, we'll call them accidents such as this in the past, or was this a first for the department?
No, I mean, to drownings, things like this off the bat, no, we've responded to them several times.
Anything else you want to add that we haven't asked?
Not that I can think of.
What is the process right now with the autopsy? Is that being done as we speak, or?
The autopsy's been concluded, however, the medical examiner is going to want to review everything, may even want to speak to some of the, to the son or something along those lines. But as of right now, they wanted to do a more thorough investigation as to what may have caused the death.
Any idea on when an autopsy report or anything conclusive will be released?
Generally, if I get it in a month, I'm happy. It'll be a little while.
And when you have something like this where he does have a mark on his head, is there, when you're investigating and just looking around, I mean, what is the process? I mean, trying to determine, how hard is it to determine where an injury like that can happen? Obviously, it could happen if he slipped and hit, is that on a boat, or like, what are you looking for?
Well, I mean, that's a hard question. We don't see anything right there that would indicate he was struck with anything. Again, it doesn't mean he wasn't, but there are so many hard objects around there, the boat, the docks, as he's floating down, the river and the current, any of those things could have caused it. So we kind of have to look at everything throughout the investigation to see if that gives us an indication of how that occurred.
Again, when you interviewed the son, he said, I have no idea what happened, right?
Yeah, I mean, he was down below, and he doesn't know how he ended up in the water.
I'm not sure if you said it already, but the current did take him. Do you know about how far away from the docks?
Well, it didn't take him away from the dock.
Okay.
His body went along the end of the dock, so if these were the docks, so it floated down, and fortunately he caught on one of the docks, his arm did, and he was stuck there.
What about any, we're starting to get into boating season, what about safety advice you would give to members of the community? I'm sure they'll watch this and be nervous about, just to speak to any safety tips you would share with the community?
I'm not a boater. I really don't know. Be careful when you're out there, especially in the Niagara River, the current, and in the little river there where they are, it's extremely, extremely fast. Wear your life preserver.